After the Charleston shooting, FBI Director James Comey came out and declared that it was not an act of terrorism. Really? Let's hear him out.
I wouldn't, because of the way we define terrorism under the law. Right? Terrorism is an act of violence done or threatened to, in order to try to influence a public body or the citizenry. So it's more of a political act. And again, based on what I know so far, I don't see it as a political act.
So he didn't want to influence public citizenry. Really? We'll go back to that. It wasn't a political act. Really? That's interesting. Look at all these pictures of Dylann Roof. Okay, there he is carrying the Confederate flag, more Confederate flag. It seems like he's making a political point. And then look, him standing on the American flag. If a jihadi was doing that, that would seem like a political point, wouldn't it? How about burning the American flag? If a Muslim terrorist was doing that, I'm sure that that would be considered political, wouldn't it? Oh, but if it's a racist who's doing it for white rights, why is that not political? In fact, the local station K4 said that they had talked to his roommate, and the roommate explained that he had a 6-month plan to do something crazy in order to start a race war. Oh, so he wanted to affect the public citizenry. But yet, it's not terrorism. By the way, he told this to his roommate. His roommate, of course, not under investigation. Anybody that the Tsarnaev brothers talked to in any way, all under investigation. I'm not saying the Tsarnaev guys shouldn't have been under investigation, but why does the roommate know about a race war and we're not investigating him? It's interesting how different things are treated differently in this country. And K4 continues. They say, by telling authorities his aim, Roof admitted he attacked unarmed civilians for political purposes in an act of terror. But still in America, if you're white, more importantly, if you're right-wing, it's never an act of terrorism. An act of terrorism is only for political things we care about, we can use for our own political purposes. Oh, a Muslim did an attack, let's invade Iraq. Yes, let's go get him. That's politics we like. That's why we call you terrorist. A right-winger does it. Well, we can't attack the right-wingers. They run this country. So, shh, not terrorism. Finally, let's listen to Dylann Roof in what he wrote in his manifesto to find out if he had political purposes. He says, quote, I have no choice. I'm not in the position to alone go into the ghetto and fight. I choose Charleston because it is the most historic city in my state and at one time had the highest ratio of blacks to whites in the country. We have no skinheads, no real KKK, no one doing anything but talking on the internet. Well, someone has to have the bravery to take it to the real world, and I guess that has to be me. In other words, I am going to attack these unarmed civilians so that I can rouse people up into action, and also so that he can terrify the black citizens. Pretty much the dictionary definition of terrorism. And let's note for the record here, in one final irony, this guy who thought he was so brave and that's why he started the fight, in the beginning said, well, it's not like I can go to the ghetto and fight. There someone might oppose me. He could only muster up the courage to attack people who couldn't fight back in a church. That's what a terrorist actually does. Sounds exactly like terrorism to me.